I'm Babla Jonathan. You welcome to this edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe television, live from my headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital. Dwelling our top stories in this edition of the news: administrative authorities in Anglophone Cameroon hit by socio-political and security tensions for close to 4 years today are determined to ensure that all schools that have been closed for the past years are opened in the 2020-2021 academic year. In the Donga-Mantum Division, Northwest region of the Republic of Cameroon, the DO from Kamer is already on the ground working to ensure the reopening of schools that have been closed as a result of the Anglophone crisis. Also in this newscast, we shall talk about the Feast of the Ram that will be celebrated tomorrow. The COVID-19 pandemic has adversely affected business around that religious event, and the sale of sheep has experienced a serious slump in the business. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us in this edition of the news on Equinoxe television. We begin right away in the crisis-hit northwest and southwest regions of the Republic of Cameroon, where several schools have remained closed for close to 3 academic years today as a result of the ongoing socio-political and security crisis in that part of the Republic of Cameroon. And administrative authorities are now working hard to ensure the reopening of schools that have been closed for the past academic years in the next school year. In the Donga-Mantum Division, Northwest region of Cameroon, the DO for Kamer subdivision is on the ground working to reopen the doors of schools that have been closed. Details with me, Armstrong Sander.
To the divisional officer from Kamer Central Subdivision, all schools within his area of command must resume for the 2020-2021 academic year, come rain, come shine. And his reason to launch the back to school early is strategy.
You know, we have had a lot of challenges on the educational sector. One, the first challenge brought in by the socio-political crisis, which affected so many of our schools. And secondly, the premature closing of schools due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So to better prepare for the upcoming academic year, I decided to call this meeting early enough so that we brainstorm with all members, with all the educational stakeholders, so that together we come up with strategies to have an effective and a 100% success in the coming school year.
His area of command, Kamer Central, is considered as the most stable subdivision in the conflict-hit northwest region, but not every school out of the urban center went operational last academic year.
We still have some schools, especially in the Ward zone, which never resumed because the challenges there, the security challenges were a bit complicated. But from then till now, a lot of work has been done. All the traditional authorities have mobilized and they are solidly behind the divisional officer, craving for an effective school resumption in that zone.
For schools in this zone and other zones within the subdivision, the divisional officer, Mr. Ngida Lawrence J, has an ultimatum
that all the schools of the subdivision must go operational come 2020-2021 academic year.
An ultimatum, an objective and a mission which the divisional officer believes can be easily attained through a collaborative framework between external and internal elites, the administration, educational stakeholders and traditional rulers. The administrative officer is known to be among the very few in the northwest and southwest regions who made a round of his entire subdivision upon installation amid the armed conflict rogging the two regions.
In the meantime, guns have continued talking, so to speak, around the in some neighborhoods in the regional capital of the northwest region of the country today, and the people are living in fear and uncertainty, not knowing what will happen in the next second, the next minute, the next hours, days, weeks, or months. And in the Bamenda Military Hospital, there are issues of a lack of equipment and poor infrastructure affecting that health amenity. And our reporter Bustela was there and says that the military hierarchy is taking steps to remedy some of the plights of that health infrastructure in the town of Bamenda. A report.
These soldiers are not only battling the separatist fighters in the northwest region, they are also fighting the spread of the coronavirus within and without the military population. They have been visited at their Mai 3 site by a representative of the Director of Military Health. The site, host to the 5th Military Regional Hospital before July 28, 2020, had 40 persons under quarantine. They, all soldiers, had recovered. The military health personnel say they are faced with challenges ranging from inadequate facilities, lack of equipment, personnel, and more.
We have some of the equipments are here, but we need more because this the equipment here are made.
Les bancs sont individuels en fait, pour chaque malade. Bon, grosso modo c'est ça, le seul inconvénient c'est qu'on n'a pas encore eu des toilettes individuelles également pour ce personnel.
The visiting Lieutenant Colonel Seal Nathalie says hierarchy is aware of the difficulties, adding that the field visit is necessary as it encourages the frontline soldiers battling the spread of the coronavirus in the midst of insecurity due to the escalation of the teachers and lawyers strike.
Stella reporting there from the northwest regional chief town Bamenda. From the northwest region, we are taking you up north, and we're going to be talking about meningitis, a 4-day vaccination campaign against
les pertes là, ça ne les regarde pas.
At this market is a man who makes and sells knives for slaughtering of the sheep. Prices of these knives vary. There are knives for 1,000, 2,000 and 3,000 francs CFA. The business, he says, is often lucrative since buyers need knives to slaughter the sheep.
Central African heads of states and governments are celebrating the integration of the sub-region, and Cameroon's Prime Minister Chief Dr. Joseph Dion Gute says all instruments have been laid out for a veritable integration. He was representing the head of state, Paul Biya, at the 17th ordinary session of the Economic Community of Central African States. During that video conference meeting, ECA's acting chairman, Gabonese President Ali Bongo Ondimba, urged heads of states of the sub-region to always seek consensus in issues concerning regional integration. The United Nations Secretary General, Special Representative and Head of the United Nations Regional Office in Central Africa, Francois Lunseni Fall, saluted the efforts of the ECAS member countries towards regional integration. He also promised to support their efforts, and he went further to reiterate the United Nations Secretary General's call for a global ceasefire to ease the fight against the coronavirus pandemic, and a new bureau has been put in place to run the affairs of the Economic Community of Central African States. ECAS. Angola has been attributed the post of president of the Commission. Equatorial Guinea obtains the post of vice president. The Republic of Chad will lead the Political Affairs, Peace and Security Commission, and Rwanda will lead the Economic Affairs Commission, and Environment and Natural Resources goes to Congo, while Cameroon leads the Commission of Infrastructure. The Democratic Republic of Congo will lead the Commission for the Promotion of Gender Equality. Talking Point is up next. Abandoning the population in the hands of armed civilians.
Babila Jonathan, before 2016 that we involve ourselves in this useless war, I believe the military or the gendarme was not loitering around the streets as they are doing today. And if you can picture what was happening, I believe there was calm, there was peace in the street, in our street, there was peace in our town. And why not, if they can call for ceasefire today, that I believe that same peace will come back.
Because you're saying that the military have to go back to their barracks.
The military have to go back to the barracks. Babila Jonathan, let me tell you this, and I believe that the world are listening. Military are not the one that's supposed to loiter around or supposed to be moving around with their uniform in our street. Military, their uniform, Babila Jonathan, frightens a lot of children out there. I believe that police are the one that government has sent to work direct one-on-one with the civilians on the field. Why not allowing the police to be on the street to work on the civilian? That is their job. Military was supposed to be in their barrack and wait if there is maybe something international war, country war between another country and so on. You are not, the military have no right to be loitering around our street. Imagine you, Babila Jonathan, when I was growing up.
The Ministry of Defense says they are there to protect the population.
They are there to protect
the territorial integrity of Cameroon.
Babila Jonathan, to protect the territorial integrity of Cameroon is not fighting the civilian, is not fighting the common man in the street. The police, okay, what's the work of the police? The police are there to put peace in the street, to put peace among the people in the community and so on. So, okay, if the military are there now, okay, it means the police have to go back to their homes and there is no work for them. Is that what we're supposed to do? The police are the one to work with the citizens. The police are the one to loiter around our street to keep peace, to keep at least calmness and whatsoever. Now, if it is more than the police, if it's a situation that is more than the police, I believe the gendarmes are there to give a helping hand to the police. The military have no right whatsoever, Babila Jonathan, to loiter around our street in the northwest and southwest. They have no right.
Yeah, the authorities will respond to you and say that they are responding to AK-47, they are responding to M15 and so on.
Before the AK-47s came, Babila Jonathan, who was the one that invited the AK-47s? I believe it was the same government that sent those people to start the war, and before the separatists, the Ambas fighters started at least inviting or buying their own or killing some of the military to see some of their weapons, and that's why you are seeing AK-47 today in the street. And let me tell you, Babila Jonathan, it's very simple. If the military can go back to their barrack, I don't think that any Amba fighter will fight he or her brother, because the people around them, they are their family members, they are their people in the same community, people they are seeing their faces every day and night. And I don't think that they will stood so low to gather themselves and go and be fighting the person that they are seeing every day, which they are claiming. I know they are also claiming that they are protecting the citizens. So the military should go back to their barrack and watch, and let's see how the things will go. But to me, I believe, Babila Jonathan, that if there is ceasefire, if the military can go back to their barrack, then this useless war will come to an end.
This is another school of thought. People who are close to the Yaoundé administration, people like Professor Elvis Ngolengole, will say that if the separatist fighters drop their guns and they come out of the bushes, the military will have nothing to shoot and they'll go back to the barracks. What's your take on that?
When you call the name of Professor Elvis Ngolengole, I also want us to know that Professor Elvis Ngolengole has his own ideology and he knows where he belongs. He knows where he belongs. And I will ask this question: how long has he ever visited his village? And if I think...
No, I'm not talking about the person. I'm talking about the idea that if the separatist fighters drop their guns, they come out of the bushes, the military will have nothing to shoot, and then they will go back to the barracks.
The question we're supposed to be asking ourselves is, does the military have the right to loitering around the street where there is police and gendarme? The answer is no. So if a learned man like Professor Elvis Ngolengole giving us or tries to brainstorm some Cameroonians who doesn't, I don't know how I can even place it, then it is something that we should be asking ourselves question: where does he belong? Does he really love these common people in the street? Does he really love that Cameroon should be peace? It should be a peaceful nation? Then the answer is no, because people like that, there are some kind of statement that we don't need to be using on Babila Jonathan. So we just need to concentrate and look for peace. What is actually going on, Babila Jonathan, is something that we don't need to. Instead of us thinking of who is right, we should think of what can we together sit and see how we can call on that ceasefire. The first thing, Babila Jonathan, the Ambas fighters, they are first of all confused because their leaders are confused. And now, if the military, because
saying that, they will tell you that they are very much organized.
They are very much organized. We are following social medias. I know I cannot say that I have been seeing them one-on-one before. I'm on social media every day, every night, Babila Jonathan, seeing the confusion. And that is why, to me, if I was even one of the Ambas fighters, I could have gathered some of the Ambas fighters and make them to understand that they are instead brainstorming us. They are instead killing us. Because if there is infighting among them, then I don't think the fighters can also be united. And that is why we are seeing the killings on the streets every day, on the rise every day, every blessed day. Babila Jonathan, there is serious confusions among the Ambazonian leaders, or the so-called Ambazonian leaders. And that's why when somebody like me, I always like to say Sisiko Ayotabe, for what the government did, or the Cameroon government did last month, to start a pre-talk with with Sisiko Ayotabe,
some of the leaders,
and some of the leaders are the Kondengi prison. It was good, because that's somebody I myself I have admired, because he always used this statement when they started this struggle, that the struggle is non-violent struggle, that the struggle is God ordained struggle. So I believe that he's somebody who
the whole thing is full of violence.
The whole thing is full of violence, and it is because he is not having any power now. That's to say something out there for the fighters to really get, for the fighters to really see that no, he's still the leader. You know, when the others are there in the diaspora trying to brainstorm the fighters on the ground, it shows that they have the power to control the fighters, and he who is in the prison has no power to control the fighters. But I believe that if the government really want this thing to stop, the government first of all to call on the ceasefire, because they are the one to call on the ceasefire. When they call on the ceasefire, I believe the Ambazonia will have nobody to fight. And if they call on the ceasefire, they should at least continue the pre-talk with the Sisiko Ayotabe and I can say the Naira 10. I believe that we'll have a very good pathway to go.
All right, now let's talk about the struggle for justice, the struggle for the rights of the English-speaking population of Cameroon, the struggle for self-determination. What is your take on how Cameroonians from the northwest and southwest regions are going about this struggle. Some are at the extremes saying we will not take anything except the restoration of the statehood of former southern Cameroons. Some are in the middle saying we want federalism, we want confederalism. Others are standing with government saying decentralization can work.
Yeah, it is true. We have separatists, we have federalists, we have decentralized people who believe in the decentralized state. And it will be also important for you to know my own side where I belong. I believe for a federal state, a federal state here in our country, Cameroon. I don't believe in separation, Mr. Babila Jonathan, because we have gone a long way. And let me tell you, the struggle truly, it is the right for the Anglophones to fight for their right, because I myself have discovered a lot of things since my 30-something years now, Babila Jonathan, that we are so much marginalized up to an extent that we have no voice in Cameroon. Anglophones have no voice in Cameroon. We have the right to fight for our right. We have the right to stand and tell the government that what is happening, we are not happy. But I don't think the right way, Babila Jonathan, to do it is to go on the streets and killing innocent souls and killing God's created souls that God has created. So the right thing to do, Babila Jonathan, if you can follow diplomacy and see that no, the Cameroon government or La République de Cameroon gave the southern Cameroon what they want, it will be so good. It will be so good.
When you talk about diplomacy, what are you referring to?
Diplomacy, I refer, we belong to, Cameroon belong to so many international communities. International communities who can really fight and come in and see how they can give and see how they can put the two parties together and solve the problem. Look at it, Babila Jonathan, in the days of Bakassi crisis, I think we did not, it wasn't war that gave Bakassi to Cameroon. It wasn't war that gave Bakassi to Cameroon, it was diplomacy that gave Bakassi to Cameroon. So if we, the Anglophones, we can come together and sit at one person, then use diplomacy, I believe that the government or the international community will hear our cry and come to our rescue.
And coming together is what seems to be quite difficult now. John Fund, the national chairman of the Social Democratic Front, was talking to some Cameroonians from the two Anglophone regions in the diaspora, and he said that the Anglophones are too divided, and some are thinking that they are the right ones. They are the ones who are thinking right. Others are saying, no, let us come together and reason like you're talking now. But some are not ready to listen to any other opinion except theirs. Now, how to come together in this context?
How to come together, Babila Jonathan? I believe us Anglophones, we know there are some key people who really know what to do. I believe among us, we know who can do this and who can handle these situations. Among us, we can truly see, we have our fathers, we have our parents who really truly, they want to stand by us. They want to go as far as entering every offices in the maybe out of Cameroon to see how this thing can come to an end. But because us, the youth, we have, in fact, we are with so much one power in our hands, with so much one power, and it is pushing us to eliminate those who we know or those who we don't even think that they are important, because even the Nijon Front is one of the most key person who knows about this struggle from the beginning. He is one of the key person who have been fighting this struggle from the beginning, Babila Jonathan. And if us, the youth, will rise today and make somebody like Nijon Fundi run away from his own home, then we are not on the right path. There are people, there are key people, Christian Cardinal Tumi, Nijon Fundi, they can come together. There are some people even in the diaspora, they can come together and they sit together, and I believe if they are united, they sit together. Let them not start even in Cameroon. Let them start even out of Cameroon in some international communities. International communities, I believe that they will have the doors of success will be open to them, and when they enter there, something tangible will come out.
All right, just to indicate that Nijon Fundi told me recently that he's out of the country. He went for treatment and then the COVID-19 blocked him there. Not that he was chased out of his home. And now you are indicating that we need to come together. Now, the issue is that there are different ideologies, different standpoints. How to bring these standpoints together? How to bring these ideas that people are upholding so strongly together and bring out something and look in the same direction? That is where there's a problem.
Babila Jonathan, if we are talking of idea, what are the idea that we are talking about here? What are the ideology? Maybe you are talking of
secession, don't want to hear any other thing.
Cessation. Okay, now are we?
And those who are saying federation like you don't want to hear about secession.
Yeah, the thing is, the Cameroon government, we have in fact, it is a government made up of very old people that cannot reason. Because if there was people that can truly reason and look deeply into this crisis, they will discover that the separatists or those who are fighting for separation here in Cameroon are not many. They are not much, because federalists are the most majority people in the Northwest and Southwest, or among the Anglophones. And it was time for them to give a test. Why not call for the referendum? They should call for it and see where the Anglophones truly belong. Because the Anglophones, not the majority of the Anglophones, doesn't belong in what we call separation. We truly believe that federations is the most key and the most important thing that can bring these two parties to an end, to a successful end, and make Cameroonian come back to life and live their normal life the way it was supposed to be. Babila Jonathan, there is something that we also like to understand, that as this crisis continues, Babila Jonathan, in 2 years' time, I'm speaking now as a servant of God. If this crisis continues in 2 years' time, I believe that the thing will spread in all the 10 regions in Cameroon, and it will be very, very, very dangerous for all the citizens, that's both the Francophones and the Anglophones.
It already started spilling over into some of the localities along the border between the littoral and the west regions and the southwest and northwest regions. Some incursions have already been occurring there, and we are looking to the end of the matter, but the end seems to be too far.
The end seems to be too far, because we have a group of people who cannot really come together, and because first of all their minds has, their brain has already drained to become like a child. They can no more reasons. Cameroon is being ruled by, I can say, just 100 of persons that gather themselves together and try to cage Cameroon. If these people, let me tell you, since the days of German rule, and we discovered that there are some Germans building here in our country, and when President Paul Biya came up, he tried to destroy some of those structures. He destroyed some of those structures because he believes that those structures were archaic. It was something that is not modern. And if he can destroy some of those structures, believing that it is not modern, why not he, who started working in the government since 1960 something, he can still also know that he is already archaic, he is old enough to go and take some rest and allow the youth, allow the youth to come up with that modern idea, that modern ideology, that modern development that will give Cameroon a befitting and a peaceful country for us Cameroonians to live in.
Are you asking the President of the Republic to resign, to step down?
Before asking the President of the Republic to step down, Babila Jonathan, I would love to say that he should first of all bring this fight, or bring Cameroonians together as one, the way there was before, and end this war before he resigned. To me, I'm not waiting that, because there is no election in Cameroon that will ever remove President Paul Biya or the President of the Republic on where he's sitting. But I believe that if he have the love for Cameroonian, then he should resign and allow this nation to be ruled by somebody who is stronger, somebody who's a youth who is vibrant, a youth who is strong enough to run all the four corners of Cameroon. If President Paul Biya can resign, then it will be good. But before resigning, he should make sure that he bring Cameroonian into a peaceful environment and allow and make this war to come to an end in a peaceful end, not in a separative end, not in that's in an end where there's unity, and makes the Anglophones to love the Francophones to love the Anglophones, because we are not ready to separate from our brothers.
All right, is President Paul Biya too powerful that nobody can pull him down? No politician, not even Maurice Kamto, not even all the politicians, Cabral, Libby, and so on?
When you're talking of being powerful, Babila Jonathan, being powerful, I don't say him being powerful. I'm just saying him being somebody who have used, he has used all the equipment around him to make sure that he fix his place to remain there, because he has used let me say this clear, he has used the resources of Cameroon to buy himself and make himself to become the king wherever he is. He is not powerful. So we have only one powerful person here on earth, who is God, and God is around us. God is ready to fight, and God will fight for the innocent.
Lonla Blasius, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Babila Jonathan. The pleasure is all mine, and I'll always be there to give my own view of what I'm seeing in Cameroon, for us to come to a peaceful lifestyle that we want to live in our country, Cameroon, in our beloved country, Cameroon, because this country was, first of all, a very lawful country with a very calm and intelligent people, united. And today, because of the sake of those who are said they want to own Cameroon, put Cameroon in their pockets, they want Cameroon to separate, or they want Cameroonians to separate from each other. But that will never work, since as we are serving a living God.
Prophet Lonla Blasius, thank you for coming. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us today. Goodbye.